50 amazing facts from Greek mythology that historians won't tell you. 1. Zeus learned a prophecy that his first wife, Metis, would give birth to a child who would be more powerful than him and eventually overthrow him. Fearing this, Zeus transformed Metis into a fly and decided to swallow Metis whole to prevent the birth of the child. A few moments later, Zeus began to experience severe headaches. The pain became so unbearable that he asked the god Hephaestus to split his head open with an axe. When Hephaestus did so, Athena came out of it, fully grown, wearing an armor. 2. Hera, the goddess of marriage, despised Heracles, her stepson, as he was one of the illegitimate children of Zeus. Ironically, Heracles was named by his mortal parents only to please Hera, as the name means glory of Hera. 3. Medusa was once a beautiful mortal woman who served as a priestess in the temple of Athena. However, she caught the attention of the sea god Poseidon. Despite numerous efforts of Poseidon, Medusa did not show interest for Poseidon. As a result, Poseidon raped Medusa. Outraged by this desecration of her sacred space, Athena punished Medusa by transforming her into a hideous gorgon with snakes for hair and a gaze that turned anyone who looked at her into stone. Ironically, Athena is known as goddess of wisdom. 4. Metis, the goddess of prudence, was Zeus's first love and probably the only female the mighty Zeus was faithful to. Once he got over her, he became one of the biggest playboys the world of men and gods has ever known. 5. Dionysus, the Greek god of fertility, was said to have invented wine. The wine was so good that Zeus promoted him to the status of a god, which also gave him the title, God of Winemaking. 6. Eos, the goddess of dawn, pleaded to Zeus to grant immortality to Tithonus, her mortal lover. However, she neglected to ask for permanent youth, which ultimately led to Tithonus aging endlessly while losing his vitality and sanity. This gradual decline resulted in his transformation into a feeble, whistling husk akin to the sound of cicadas. Eos, unable to bear his suffering, imprisoned Tithonus in a room where he languished in his deteriorating state for eternity. 7. Prometheus, the trickster god, stole fire from Zeus to give humanity so that mankind can prosper and do well. However, this incident offended Zeus. Hence, he punished Prometheus by having him chained to a rock, where an eagle would eat his liver daily. The liver would heal and regenerate overnight, causing Prometheus eternal suffering. 8. Remember the punishment of Prometheus? Well, here's something you might not know about it. The ancient Greeks held a unique belief that the liver, not the heart, was the center of human emotions and intellect. This perspective is also evident in their mythological stories, such as the punishment of Prometheus, in which Prometheus had his liver relentlessly pecked out by an eagle during the day, only for it to regrow overnight, subjecting that he was punished for letting his emotions get the best of him. 9. Apollo's son, Asclepius, became an even better doctor than his father. He developed his medical knowledge to the point where he could revive the dead, which infuriated Hades because it violated his agreement with Zeus. As a result, Zeus consequently killed Asclepius for unbalancing the cycle of life and death. 10. Ancient Greeks didn't call their country Greece. Its official name was the Hellenic Republic, and the Greeks referred to their nation as Hellas or Hellada. It is the ancient Romans who came up with the word Greece. The word Greece came from the Latin word Graecia for the land of the Greeks. 11. The ancient Greeks did not like to waste their urine. They knew that urine doesn't contain bacteria and is actually quite clean. As a result, they decided to use urine for everything, from whitening teeth to cleaning clothes to treating wounds. 12. Athena, the goddess of wisdom, and Poseidon, the god of sea, both wanted to be the guardian of a city. So they made the decision to compete for it by giving the villagers a gift. Poseidon gave the villagers spring water as a gift. However, the water was salty and useless. In contrast, Athena gave the villagers an olive tree that produced food, oil, and wood, which made her the obvious winner of the competition. As a result, the city came to be known as Athens. 13. Remember the olive tree that Athena gifted to the city? Turns out it actually had 1,000 of her eyes as its leaves. The olive tree's leaves are still gray from the back, and when the wind blows, it causes them to rise, giving the impression that Athena is keeping an eye on the city of Athens. 14. The ancient Greeks had a unique way to propose their partners. If a man threw an apple at a woman, this was considered to be a proposal of marriage. If she caught the apple, she was accepting the proposal. 15. The ancient Greeks thought it was barbaric to drink wine undiluted. As a result, they diluted their wine with water. It was believed that only the god of wine, Dionysus, was able to drink undiluted wine and not get drunk, since he basically invented it. There was also a common norm that if humans drank wine undiluted, they would go mad and become violent. 16. Apollo, god of sun, spent a good deal of time with both men and women, but due to his Olympian status, he was frequently turned down. The princess of Troy, named Cassandra, was one of his love obsessions. In an attempt to win her over, he gave her the gift of prophecy, but after she received it, she turned him down. As revenge, Apollo added a curse to his gift that would enable her to see the future. However, no one really believed her when she told everyone about her curse. 17. Hera, the Greek goddess of marriage, was married to her brother Zeus, but due to a long list of obvious reasons, she was not in love with him. Therefore, every year, she regained her virginity by taking a dip in the holy spring of Kanathos. The holy spring of Kanathos restored her virginity. This process was also done by Greek goddess of love, Aphrodite. 18. The yo-yo is believed to be the second oldest toy in the world and appears to have been invented by the ancient Greeks. A device very similar to a yo-yo was discovered, which dated back to 500 BC. 19. Birthday candles were also used by ancient Greeks. Lit candles would be placed on cakes brought to the temple of Artemis, since she was associated with the moon, and the candles were lit to create a moon-like glow. 20. Hades, the god of underworld, was feared to an extent that he was rarely portrayed in the artwork. It is said that whenever his worshippers sacrificed to him, they would avert their gaze. The fear was so intense that people even avoided taking his name. 21. In ancient Greece, prostitutes were identified by their wearing of red lipstick. If they didn't wear red lipstick, they were punished for it. As a result, all other women were discouraged from wearing red-colored lipstick at all. 22. The first mortal lady created by Zeus was named Pandora. She was brought to life so Zeus could take revenge on Prometheus and mankind for stealing and using fire. He gave Pandora to Epimetheus, who was warned by his brother Prometheus to not receive any gift from Zeus. But because of Pandora's attractiveness, Epimetheus decided to accept her. He even gave her a box and told her not to ever open it. But when Pandora grew intrigued and did so, she unwittingly released all the evils, diseases, sorrows, and hardships into the world. The good thing about this tale is, she also released hope into the world of mankind, which serves as a glimmer of light amidst the difficulties in our day-to-day life. 23. The ancient Greeks used to exercise and train naked. In Sparta, even the women exercised nude. Participants in sporting races were also naked. The word gymnasium means school for naked exercise. 24. The Temple of Artemis, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, was burnt down by an arsonist named Herostratus, who set fire to the temple with the intention of achieving lasting fame. After his execution, it was a punishable offense by death to mention the arsonist's name. 25. Persephone, the daughter of Zeus and Demeter, was abducted by Hades, the god of the underworld. Her mother, Demeter, the goddess of agriculture, mourned her disappearance, causing the world to wither in a devastating starvation. To rescue her daughter, Demeter struck a deal with Zeus, the king of the gods. Persephone would spend half the year with Hades in the underworld, and the other half with Demeter on Earth. This myth explained the cyclical nature of the seasons and the connection between life, death, and rebirth in ancient Greek beliefs. 26. The Cercopes were mischievous and troublesome creatures in Greek mythology. They were often depicted as dwarf-like tricksters, who delighted in causing chaos and playing pranks on travelers. They were known for their cunning and cleverness, as well as their ability to shapeshift and disguise themselves. These qualities allowed them to avoid punishment and continue their illicit activities. 27. The Harpies were mythical creatures that combined the features of birds and women. They were generally depicted as winged female creatures with the heads of women and the bodies of birds, often with sharp talons and claws. These creatures were also known for their swiftness and their ability to swiftly swoop down and seize things, including food or even humans at times. 28. Zeus, the king of gods, was infamous for his lustful activities with nymphs. However, one of the few women to escape Zeus's lust was a nymph named Asteria. She managed to escape Zeus by transforming into a quail, flinging herself into an ocean, and thereby becoming the island of Ortygia. So basically, she preferred transforming into an island rather than having intercourse with Zeus. 29. Io was a beautiful nymph who caught the attention of Zeus. To hide his actions from his wife, Hera, Zeus transformed Io into a young cow. Despite the transformation, Hera was not fooled and immediately sensed Zeus's infidelity. She requested the cow as a gift and placed the creature under the guard of the many-eyed herdsman, Argus Panoptes, to keep a watchful eye on her. In response, Zeus sent the god Hermes to rescue Io, with Argus Panoptes defeated. Io was freed from her captivity, but her trials were not over. Hera continued to torment Io by sending a gadfly to sting and chase her across the land, forcing her to wander in anguish. Io traveled through many lands, eventually arriving in Egypt, where Zeus finally restored her into a human form. 30. Numerous residents of ancient Greece avoided eating beans, as it was a common norm that beans contained the souls of the dead. 31. In ancient Greece, text was commonly written in the boustrophodon style. In boustrophodon style, the first line would be written from left to right, similar to modern writing, while the second line would be written from right to left. This alternating pattern continued, creating a visual rhythm resembling the path of the plowing ox. Additionally, some inscriptions mirrored the letters when switching direction, adding another layer of complexity to the writing. 32. The archaeological relief from the 5th century BC is a significant historical artifact portraying an intriguing interaction between Hera and Athena. This relief is particularly noteworthy because it is considered by scholars to be among the earliest depictions of a handshake. 33. We know Spartan training was tough, but here is something you might not know about it. Spartan training began when boys were only 7 years old. Soldiers were not allowed to live with their families until they left active military service at 30 years of age. This separation aimed to foster a strong sense of companionship among the warriors and to prioritize their devotion to the collective well-being of the state over personal attachments. 34. Theater was invented by the ancient Greeks. Most cities had theaters big enough to hold 1,500 people. Only men and boys were allowed to be actors. Actors wore masks that displayed their feelings. Some of the masks had two sides so the actor could change them to fit the mood of their character from scene to scene. Furthermore, the Greek god Dionysus was also known as the god of theater. 35. Ancient Greeks had a universal solution for everything: salt. Salt is the easiest way to get rid of unwanted guests. Whether that be a nosy neighbors or evil energy, sprinkling salt behind them has the power to drive them out. Not just Greece, but salt was associated with purification and protection in other cultures as well. 36. In ancient Greece, there was a common belief that eyes had the power to release evil energy. It was believed that the eye can release negative energy, such as jealousy and anger. The evil eye can also cause bad things to happen to you and your family. This is why you will often see Greeks wearing a pendant called Mati pendant, which is believed to offer protection against the evil eye. 37. As Zeus's favorite child, Athena was allowed to share her father's aesthetic. The goddess of wisdom wielded the thunderbolt, representing her divine lineage and her father's might. Her representation showcased the multifaceted nature of the divine world in Greek mythology. 38. In Greek mythology, Zeus, the god of sky and thunder, was also portrayed as the rain god sometimes. Homer's portrayal of the gods residing on Mount Olympus, the highest mountain in Greece, further reinforces the notion of Zeus as a weather god. Olympus's lofty peak made it an apt location for a deity who controlled celestial phenomena like thunder, lightning, and rain. 39. The ancient Greeks have inspired many other famous novelists, including J.K. Rowling. Fluffy, the multi-headed dog guarding Hogwarts' Chamber of Secrets, is based on Cerberus, the multi-headed dog guarding the entrance to the ancient Greek underworld. 40. The most famous oracle in ancient Greece lived in a place called Delphi and had the power to summon the sun god Apollo. to allow important people to ask him for advice. The process of seeking advice from the Oracle of Delphi often involved a complex ritual. Those seeking guidance would present offerings and sacrifices to the gods before posing their questions. The Pythia, inspired by Apollo, would then deliver her responses, often in cryptic and metaphorical language that required interpretation by skilled priests. However, it was later found out that Oracle's temple was built above a chasm that released poisoned gases known to cause hallucinations. 41. In ancient Greece, it was considered beautiful for ancient Greek women to have one big eyebrow. Ladies not blessed with one massive eyebrow would create fake eyebrows to join their two small eyebrows together. 42. Achilles, the fierce warrior from the Trojan War, was killed by an arrow to the only vulnerable part of his body, his ankles. His ankles were vulnerable because his mother, Theseus, held him by them when dipping him into the river Styx, which was believed to grant immortality. The concept of an Achilles heel has since become a metaphor for a person's weakness or vulnerability. 43. Contrary to common beliefs, ancient Greek statues did not possess a white hue exclusively. In the past, these sculptures were adorned with vibrant pigments, infusing them with a spectrum of colors. Over the ages, these vivid shades gradually diminished, leaving us with the monochromatic appearance we associate with these statues today. Nevertheless, through detailed examination, historians and scientists subsequently uncovered minute remnants of the original colors. This revelation has illuminated our modern understanding of ancient artistry and offers insights into the chromatic vibrancy that once adorned these sculptures. 44. The concept of the red carpet originated in ancient Greece. The first mention of the red carpet was in the 5th century BC play Agamemnon. The play essentially mentioned a crimson path that could only be walked upon by the gods. 45. Greek mythology is filled with rich and fascinating creatures. However, all the monstrous creatures had one mother. Echidna, the mother of monsters, was half woman and half snake. The union of Echidna and Typhon gave birth to some of the most deadly creatures. Among their children were Orpheus, a two-headed dog known for guarding cattle, and Cerberus, the infamous three-headed hound that stood guard at the entrance to the underworld. Not to forget the Lernaean Hydra, a serpent-like monster with regenerative heads, and the Chimera, a creature with the head of a goat, body of a lion, and tail of a serpent, also emerged from this union. Ladon, the serpent-like dragon guarding golden apples, and the enigmatic Sphinx, with its lion's body and human head, were part of their progeny as well. Additionally, the monstrous Caucasian eagle, responsible for tormenting Prometheus, and the Cromaeonian sow, a menacing wild boar, were among the offspring of this fearsome pair. These legendary creatures held pivotal roles in various Greek myths, often serving as adversaries to the heroes who sought to overcome them. 46. In ancient Greek, men used their hair to declare their status quo. Beard was a symbol of prestige for a man. Their grooming was of the utmost importance, but also a subject of competition between men, which made the good hairdressers very sought after. Ancient Greeks, in fact, considered the beard a symbol of manhood and wisdom. The Spartans punished the cowards by shaving part of their beards. 47. Ancient Greeks used stones for toilet paper. It may come as a surprise to many, but there was no toilet paper in classical Greece. Hence, for hygiene purposes, they used stones, pebbles, or ceramic pieces. 48. Ancient Greeks could have been partially colorblind. Homer, in his famous works Iliad and Odyssey, describes the Mediterranean Sea as wine-dark sea. Homer actually names only a few color terms and uses the same colors to describe objects that look quite different. According to Mark Bradley, Associate Professor of Ancient History at the University of Nottingham, color was operated in a very different way in antiquity from what we are used to today. 49. Men in ancient Greece used a number of things designed to improve men's sexual performance. Some of them enabled them to have permanent stimulation. Honey in combination with pepper was one of the most common and effective formulations. 50. And for the last amazing fact, one of the coolest facts about ancient Greece is that the word idiot was derived from that period. At the time, people who did not participate in politics were referred as idiots. And there you have it, 50 amazing facts from Greek mythology. Greek mythology never fails to amaze us with its rich history and intriguing traditions. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below telling us which fact was your favorite. We'll see you in our next video. Until then, goodbye.